Answer the following question in the comments. When you have more money than time, what do you do with the hours you actually have? While most people dream of vacations, the ultra-wealthy chase something else entirely. Experiences so rare, so exclusive, that most of us will never even hear about them. Forget weekend barbecues or binge-watching Netflix. From zero-gravity dinners to buying islands just to walk alone. This is how billionaires spend their free time. And trust me, it's stranger, quieter, and more expensive than you think. If you're fascinated by the insane luxuries, leave a comment and tell us, what kind of billionaire comparisons or outrageous luxury items do you want to see next? We might feature your idea in the next video. Let's begin with the truth that very few people understand. Time becomes more valuable than money once you pass a certain level of wealth. And for billionaires, where earning $1 million might take a few hours or even a few minutes, leisure is no longer about relaxation. It's about access, privacy, identity. For some, that means collecting moments. For others, it means disappearing from the world entirely. Take, for instance, the growing obsession among billionaires with remote island retreats. We're not talking about booking a stay, we're talking about buying the entire island. Sir Richard Branson famously owns Necker Island in the British Virgin Islands, which he turned into a private paradise where he hosts friends, celebrities, and world leaders. Jeff Bezos recently purchased his own slice of paradise in Maui. Why? Not just for the beauty, but for the quiet, for the control, for the feeling of owning a world no one else can enter without your permission. But not all billionaire pastimes are so still. Some billionaires go to space in their free time. Literally, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson aren't just investing in space companies, they're flying on their own rockets. Not as astronauts, as leisure travelers. When most people think of the future, these men spend their free time living in it. But not everything is high-tech or interstellar. In fact, many billionaires choose to spend their free hours in pursuits that are surprisingly traditional, like collecting rare art. But not just hanging a Picasso in the living room. We're talking about private collections worth hundreds of millions, curated with the help of elite advisors and stored in secure, climate-controlled vaults in places like Switzerland or Monaco. For billionaires, art isn't just a hobby. It's a passport to a hidden world of private galas, international influence, and legacy. Then there's the passion for yachting, not simply sailing for fun, but owning floating palaces longer than a football field. Take Roman Abramovich's Eclipse, which cost $700 million to build and comes equipped with 2 helipads, a missile defense system, and a submarine. Or Jeff Bezos' massive yacht, rumored to come with a second support yacht that carries his helicopter. For these individuals, time on the ocean isn't about leisure, it's about building a lifestyle that can't be touched by the outside world. And yet, sometimes, their pastimes are completely personal. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men on earth, still spends hours every day reading, not as a duty, but as his most valued ritual. For him, free time isn't filled with extravagance, but with thought, with silence, with depth. Some billionaires become obsessed with philanthropy, not as charity, but as passion. Bill Gates spends most of his time not on yachts, but on solving global health problems. To him, free time is the chance to make history by eliminating disease and expanding access to clean water. And then there's Mackenzie Scott, who gave away over $14 billion of her wealth in just a few years, using her time to find and empower lesser-known causes that traditional foundations overlook. For others, competition never ends. Billionaires often spend their leisure in high-stakes hobbies, owning rare racehorses, playing ultra-exclusive golf courses in the Himalayas, or betting millions on private poker games with other billionaires. There are even billionaires who compete in car racing, like Lawrence Stroll, who bought an entire Formula One team just to take the game to the next level. Let's not forget real estate, not for investment, but for expression. When billionaire Ken Griffin bought a penthouse in Manhattan for over $238 million, it wasn't just to live in, it was to own a statement. Billionaires spend their time designing residences that reflect their deepest identities. Homes with indoor forests, rotating garages, secret vaults, and panic rooms that double as command centers. Some spend their time in complete isolation. The further up the wealth ladder they climb, the more silence becomes a luxury. They build underground bunkers, secret alpine chalets, or mountaintop sanctuaries far from cities. It's not paranoia, it's control, the luxury of vanishing. But even the most elite individuals have their circles, and billionaires love exclusive social clubs. We're talking about places like the Silicon Valley's Battery Club, or invite-only hideaways in New York, Paris, or Dubai, where a year's membership can cost more than a new car. These aren't for publicity, they're for privacy, for networking, for leisure that feels meaningful. It's where billionaires casually discuss ideas that change the world, or where they simply enjoy a $10,000 bottle of wine in peace. Before we continue with our list, I would like you to know that this channel is just getting started, and what's coming in next videos will blow your mind. From cars more expensive than private jets to rare luxury items only the world's wealthiest have ever seen, we're taking you deep inside the billionaire lifestyle. So if you want a front row seat to a world of outrageous comparisons, elite services, and the most exclusive luxuries on earth, subscribe now and join us on this journey into pure extravagance. And then there are the truly surreal hobbies: flying in zero-gravity planes for dinner parties at the edge of space, booking an orchestra to play privately in your living room, hiring Michelin-starred chefs to follow you across continents, training falcons in the Middle East, a centuries-old tradition that now merges with cutting-edge GPS tech. Some billionaires even build private museums, not open to the public, but purely for themselves and a few select guests. Others spend years, yes, years, curating their own perfumes, wines, or cigars. Not to sell, not to show, just to create the perfect sensory experience unique to their taste. Imagine having the time and money to develop your own scent, grown from a flower cultivated on land you bought just for that purpose. Then, there's legacy building. Some billionaires use their time to write books, build foundations, or design universities and institutions that will carry their name for centuries. They aren't just spending time, they're trying to become immortal through influence. But let's not pretend it's all elegant and noble. Some spend their time in complete extravagance: massive parties on private islands, gold-covered steak dinners, trips around the world in a jet that costs more per hour than most people make in a year. Because when you reach a certain level of wealth, the question is no longer, can I? It becomes, why not? And that's perhaps the strangest truth of all. For billionaires, free time isn't about escaping work. It's about creating their own world, where every hour is curated, customized, and completely under their control. Whether they're solving global problems or racing vintage Ferraris, what they do in their leisure time reveals everything about who they are. It's not always what you'd expect, and that's what makes it fascinating. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to truly live without limits, to spend a day as someone who owns not just wealth, but the luxury of time itself, this is your invitation to keep watching, exploring, and imagining. Because in this world, luxury isn't what you buy, it's how you spend your time. And don't forget, if you like extreme luxury and following the world of the super rich, subscribe to the channel. Here, the impossible is just the beginning. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.